two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 cases that were all set for jury trial today, and 1 case that has an open warrant that we're going to deal with at some point this morning. Mr. Ross Truckee is here on behalf of the defendant. He and the defendant have been in contact, which has been helpful. Earlier this week, Abigail Stoll is here from the prosecuting attorney's office. So let's go through these in chronological order. In May 23rd of 2024, in file number 24911 and 912, the defendant is charged with having no insurance on a motor vehicle and driving suspended second offense. Those are under state statute. In file 24964, it's alleged that in June of 2024, the defendant drove without a valid operator's license and with no proof of insurance. I got my chronology out of order. April of 2024, April 16th of 2024, the allegation is the defendant drove in the city of Three Rivers without valid insurance, left the scene of a property damage accident, had open intoxicants in a motor vehicle, had no valid license, had improper registration plate on the vehicle. That's actually, I think, the first one in time. December 2nd of 2024, she is charged in file 25358 with retail fraud 3rd degree in the Johnny Mart in Centerville. Involved some items. Then we get into 2025 and file 25359 SM. The defendant is charged with 2 counts of domestic assault upon Skylar Ballard and assault and battery upon Craig Klaubenstein. And that was in Centerville Village on 2/6 allegedly and 25359. In June of 2025, the defendant was charged with retail fraud in the 2nd degree, alleging that she stole some liquor from Paul's Pantry in Three Rivers, and it was a second or subsequent retail fraud. 251406. 251764 alleges that in May, got them out of order, in May of 2025, that she did a retail fraud at Walmart of more than $200 but less than $1,000, and that was charged as retail fraud 2nd. Then she also got charged with a retail fraud from July 31st of 2025, a retail fraud from the Shell Mart in Three Rivers. I believe that was also liquor and candy. She had her children with her. Was an allegation, and that one is the one with the open warrant in it. Judge Patterson issued a warrant. I believe she failed to appear for something. So we'll deal with that as well. Ms. Stoll and Mr. Truckee, I know you're aware of all of these cases, including the ordinance ones, and you've been discussing them all week. In addition to that, Ms. Furlow has $990 for the unpaid fines and costs for other offenses. And you've been working on a plea agreement to attempt to resolve everything. Ms. Stoll, what is the plea agreement here?
Your Honor, in exchange for a guilty plea to retail fraud 2nd in one of the retail fraud files, the people will dismiss the remaining retail fraud charges, and then in exchange for a guilty plea to failure to report a collision in 24881, a guilty plea to failure to report a collision and no valid apps in 24881. The people will dismiss the remaining charges in that file, and the people will dismiss the remaining charges in the remaining files.
So the domestic assault charge in A and B will be dismissed?
We couldn't, yes, Your Honor, we couldn't make contact.
What about the newest retail fraud from that isn't set for trial today? Is that part of the deal?
That's
also?
part of the package offer, yes.
All right.
Your Honor, we'd also be admitting to no valid ops in the City of Three Rivers case. Previously discussed that with Mr. George.
All right. And Ms. Stoll only has authority over the county cases. The Three Rivers ordinance case is 24964. Did you have a preference over which retail fraud you would rather plead to?
So there's 25358. That was a retail fraud third at the Centerville Shell. Well, we'd be willing to stipulate in there to a prior conviction and allow it to enter as retail fraud second if the court's will.
All right, let's go to that one. Give me the number again.
25358.
All right, 25358 is alleged to have occurred at the Johnny Mart in Centerville, and it's charged as a third degree. They did not allege that she had a previous retail fraud. So you'll allow that one. Wouldn't it be easier to just do one of the other ones, or this is the one that she has the memory of?
So I'm not aware that the charge in the July, the Mr. Knopfinger's file with the open warrant, if that's a second, that one.
That is a second.
We would enter a plea in that case.
All right, that would be easier. To retail fraud second in 2520302 SM. All right, Ms. Furlow, let's take our time. We got all morning.
Okay.
You're going to enter a plea to retail fraud in the second degree and file 252302. That alleges that you were at the Shell Mart on South Main and you stole.
Right away, this courtroom is dealing with something unusual. 8 different cases stacked against one defendant. That's not just a legal problem. That's a pattern. When judges see this many charges across multiple years, they start looking at the bigger question. Is this someone who made mistakes or someone who keeps repeating them? Let me ask you this. If you were the judge, would you give another chance or draw the line right here?
2 bottles of Hennessy and some candy in July 31st of 2025. In 24881, you're going to plead to fail to report a collision and no valid operator's license. Operating without insurance, operating with an improper plate will be dismissed. Fail to stop, report a collision 257720 is, I think, 90 days and or $100. I don't think it carries any points. The charge of no insurance and driving suspended second will be dismissed. That's file 24911 and 912. You're going to plead to no valid ops in the Three Rivers ordinance case from June 1st. That was at Constantine and Broadway. That's 90 days and or $100. The retail fraud third degree from the Johnny Mart, which was also liquor, I think, is dismissed. The domestic violence charge, and this is a big deal. This is 25359. Domestic violence, 2 counts and an account of assault and battery. I don't know whether the victims agree with this or not, but that case is being dismissed, 25359. Those are all punishable by up to 93 days in jail. The retail fraud second degree at Walmart is also dismissed. That was in May of 25. It involved you and India Helper were in there and took some items. That's being dismissed. Items were worth more than $200. That's 251764. And then there is the Paul's Pantry case where you allegedly stole some high-end bottles of liquor, LeBron James Hennessy. That's file 251406. That's retail fraud second. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cases are being dismissed. No insurance, driving suspended second. Those are both punishable by up to a year in jail. A retail fraud third. Domestic violence on Skylar Ballard and Craig Klopfenstein. That's being dismissed 25359. A retail fraud at Walmart with a co-defendant is being dismissed. And then the Hennessy bottles from Paul's Pantry in June of 25 are dismissed. So that leaves 3 cases that we're going to deal with here this morning. So let's talk about those. Retail fraud second degree, the July 31st case from South Main Shell. That's a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to a year in jail and a fine of up to $1,000. Potentially 3 times the value of the property taken, but I've never ever done that. But that's the maximum on that. On the accident from April of 24, they're going to dismiss no insurance. You're going to plead to fail to report collision. That's 257, I believe it's 620. That carries no points. It is punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $100. They're going to dismiss the no ops and the unlawful use of a registration plate and open intox. So it's a plea. In the no ops case from Three Rivers, no ops is a misdemeanor, but it's a minor one. It's punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $100. It does carry 2 points and it will go on your driving record. Do you understand?
Yes.
And are you going to plead to those 3 misdemeanor charges?
Yes.
The other 5 cases will be dismissed.
Yes.
All right. Did anybody promise you anything to get you to plead to this other than this plea agreement?
No.
Did anyone threaten you to try to get you to plead to these?
No.
All right. Do you understand that if you do plead to these charges, you'll be giving up your right to have a trial in front of a judge or jury? There will not be a trial. Do you understand that?
Yes.
If you had a trial, you'd have the right to be represented by an attorney. Mr. Truckee is here with you. He's going to handle all these cases. You could also hire an attorney of your own choosing if you wished. If you had a trial, you would have the right to take the witness stand and testify on your own behalf. But you don't have to, because you have a right not to testify. And if you did not wish to testify, the judge or jury could not hold your silence against you. And you have the right to be presumed innocent unless the state was able to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You understand?
Yes.
All right, let's start with the easy one, the no ops. That alleges on this ticket that you were driving a car in Three Rivers on, print's pretty small, June 1st, I think, of 2024 at Broadway and Constantine. You got stopped for something and they gave you a ticket. Did you not have a valid license at that time?
No, I didn't have a license.
All right, I'll accept the plea to that one. 24881. This is quite a generous plea agreement. They're dismissing everything but failing to report a collision. On that day, April 16th, did you have a collision with another car on 4th Street in Three Rivers?
Yes.
And you were driving a tan Suburban?
Yes.
And did you and this other car crash into each other and then you left?
Yes.
All right. You had some buzz balls and chillers. This is Timothy Miller. Was this Deputy Tim Miller?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. And then they found your car and had all your paperwork in it. Failed to report a collision, as I said, is pretty straightforward. It doesn't carry any points. Everything else in there is dismissed. No insurance, open intox, no ops, unlawful plate. Then the last case we have, I think, is the last one in time. This is City of Three Rivers. On July 31st, last summer, did you go in the South Main Shell? This is all on video, about 9:30 in the morning. And you took 2 bottles of Hennessy and some candy
Yes.
and then left the store?
Yes.
All right. Okay. That is a misdemeanor punishable by up to a year in jail and a fine of up to $1,000. This isn't a year in jail kind of case. All right, Ms. Stoll, what would you like me to do here?
Your Honor, we're still asking for restitution in all of the retail fraud files. There's a few different businesses that the restitution would go towards, but I have a total of $968 in restitution. Everything that the defendant's been charged with and that she's pleading guilty to is relatively petty and minor, so I won't recommend any upfront jail. I believe probation is appropriate, maybe 12 months or 24 months. I'm hopeful that the defendant takes this as an opportunity, sort of a clean slate, this fresh start to get her life back on track and be a good mom for her kids.
Mr. Truckee?
Thank you, Your Honor. I think we all get jaded sometimes in this job, and we see Ms. Furlow with her stack of files, and people start to think, what kind of a person is this? She's an indomitable person who has struggled and had a very unstable life for the majority of it. She's got kids at home. She had kids here one day, which Your Honor was not very thrilled about, but sometimes life comes into the courtroom. And you're well aware of the different medical issues that we've had that have kind of interrupted this case. But the thing that kind of really speaks to me about Ms. Furlow today is that you told her you'd put her in jail. And here she is. She didn't run. I think there was a long time in her life where she'd just not come again and not come again.
Well, these files are full of failure to appears and bench warrants, but we are here today and we resolved 9 or 10 cases, so that's good for all concerned.
I would also note that during the colloquy here, there was an excuse making and stops put up. It's yes, yes, yes. This is a step toward atonement and a step toward contrition to say, I really did go on a tear from April of 24 to July of 25. And if you ask Ms. Furlow, she'll say that there's something with her, whether it's a midlife crisis or a nervous breakdown, but she was striking out, lashing out at society in a way that call for help is kind of a cliche, right? I'm not going to use that, but there's obviously something going on with her when this happens again and again. And I don't think it's just, I want some liquor, I'm going to get some. I think there's a little bit deeper seated issue to it. And I think Your Honor's been aware of the family for years and knows that there's been kind of a similar trajectory that's been altered for some siblings of hers and for her mother too. So this is something where Ms. Furlow, she's in her 30s now. What she shared with me is that she looked around and said, I'm in my 30s now. I got a pile of kids. What am I doing here? I'm not 17. These are teenager crimes, a lot of them. And she wants to change. She'd like your help changing. And that's why we'd ask that you offer a probation that would allow her to have some guardrails put up, continue with some therapy, get into some therapy, and work on herself. You know, she reports to me that talking to God works, but she wants somebody she can talk across the table to also. So these are the things I hope we can do and that she can make a big change. I don't know if she has a statement for you or not. We ask you to follow the prosecutor's recommendation. Thank you.
Ms. Furlow, what would you like me to know?
I'm trying to talk about. Hold on. Sorry.
You're all right.
Okay. I can't say I was going through. I don't know. Honestly, I was going through a midlife crisis. I don't know what I was going through, and I'm not about to sit here and make an excuse out of it. But okay, trying not to cry. And I am guilty of all that I just plead to today, but I do have kids, and that's my main concern. And I've been moving on. Like, I don't want to do this stuff no more. I'm tired of coming to this courthouse.
I don't doubt that.
My kids are getting older, and they see that. And usually, I am not gonna lie, I did not care. I used to didn't care.
That's my sense. All of this is, I don't care.
I used to did not care.
All right. It's like, I don't care. I'm going to drive. They know I'm
used to
suspended.
just didn't, I don't know what it was, but my kids, yeah, it affected me. I don't want to keep coming into this courtroom or looking behind my back or not being able to go take my kids somewhere because I got a warrant or I'm running.
Well, that's the good news. I'm going to recall that warrant. You pled to that, and there won't be any open warrants, as far as I can tell, for any of this stuff.
Just don't want to go through this stuff no more.
All right. I don't blame you there. And I don't have a bad relationship with your family. I've known them for years. They came to my mom's funeral. And I've known you since you were a kid.
Yeah. But
you got a lot of bad decisions.
I know.
Well, let's take the easier ones one by one. 24881 that failed to report collision is each of these files is full of you failing to appear. This is a bad case. You crashed into somebody, you left, the car was full of alcohol, you just took off. But you did 1 day jail and then another day jail when you failed to appear. I'm going to 2 days jail credit, 2 days, giving no additional jail. The minimum fine was $125 or 2 days in jail. Everything's going to be concurrent. All right, that takes care of that incident from April 16th. All right, the no operator's license from 3 Rivers. Your license is in fact suspended, has been for a long, long time. You've got no ops going back to 2011. See how much jail time again, all these are full of failing to show up. I think I might have $200 of bond in that case. 964. No, that was with a surety. So there's no money in there. But again, multiple fails to appear. Let's see how much you didn't show up for your arraignment. You didn't care. 3 no shows. You got arrested in May of 25. You did 1 day, then you post a surety bond. 1 day, credit 1 day, leaving 0 days to serve. Minimum allowable fine of $125 or 2 days. Concurrent with the other cases. All right, so the collision one is done, the no ops one. Collision one was bad. No ops, not so much. That leaves us with the retail fraud from South Main Shell on July 31st. In that case, according to the affidavit, and all these are on video, which is why I said you don't care. The Paul's Pantry is on video. The Walmart is on video. The Centerville one is on video. You took 2 large bottles of alcohol, and she held her purse open while her young daughter concealed the items in the purse. The stolen merchandise was $110.03. Left the store without merchandise. I reviewed the footage. Shows Sinquez selecting 2 bottles of Hennessy and concealing them in her purse. She selects small snack bags of candy and sweets and conceals them in front of her children as well. She then holds open her purse near the ground while her daughter, believed to be Jade McClinton, conceals a small item in the purse. And that is alleged to be a second or subsequent offense. The Paul's Pantry case, you were by yourself. No, you had your daughter with you. You went into the store and stole 2 $80 bottles of Hennessy. No, $40 bottles of Hennessy. And a young child was with you. And there's video of that. That's $80. That one's dismissed. The retail fraud from Walmart, I can't tell what it was. It says it was items. I don't know what that was. The domestic assault charge is dismissed altogether, so we don't even need to discuss that one. The retail fraud from Johnny Mart in Centerville. Again, you had your child with you. And that was $33 worth of food. And then the no insurance and the driving suspended charge from Constantine is dismissed. You have several previous retail frauds over the years, going back quite some time. You have unpaid fines and the truancy, which I can wipe out. It seems to me we tried a probation before without very much success. You were on a crime spree and you just didn't care. You got multiple prior criminal offenses. In each of these retail frauds, you had your children with you. And in this one that you pled to, your child helped you with the theft. The files are full of failing to appear with bench warrants. And as I said, you've got $990 worth of unpaid fines. And so it's not a very pleasant picture. This one, I'm going to recall the warrant because she pled on this one. Let's see if that has any jail credit in it. PR bond. You got arrested on the 22nd. You bonded on the 22nd. You got 1 day credit. You can't just do this over and over and over again without a consequence. And you've been ducking the consequence by failing to come to court. And I respect the fact, as Mr. Truckee said, you're here today to face the music and everything is resolved. So going forward, you won't have a warrant over your head. You won't have me supervising. I'm going to do 0 fine. You already owe a bunch of money and you don't have much money. 75 and 50 is 125. 2 additional days. I'm even going to waive your attorney fee. Although Mr. Truckee certainly earned it in this case. This is concurrent with the other 2 cases. I'm ordering 91 days in jail, credit 1. You're going to jail right now. I'm also going to wipe out the money that you owe me in the truancy case that's never been paid. The cops have been chasing you for 1.5 years and we finally resolved everything. But you've earned every day of 91 days. So you can go with a court officer. I will wipe out the fine that you owe in the old truancy case. You'll get good time credit, 90 days minus good time is 75 days. If you're a trustee, you'll be out sooner than that. I'm not doing a probation. I am ordering $964 worth of restitution.
Your Honor, we'd ask that any restitution sourced from the case with a co-defendant be reserved or made joint and several. You indicated a co-defendant on the Walmart.
Yes, and that's fair enough. All right, Ms. Furlow, best of luck. I hope I don't see you for the rest of the year.
Okay.